One of the biggest struggles in life is the habit of comparing ourselves with others. We don't even notice when it happens. Sometimes it's while scrolling through social media, sometimes when we see a friend doing well, or even when a stranger passes us by looking confident. Deep down we ask ourselves, why is she so successful and I'm not? Why is he ahead of me? And slowly, those little questions begin to eat us from the inside. But here's the truth. Her journey and yours are not the same. His starting point and your starting point are different. Every person is running their own race, on their own track. Yet we keep forgetting this and measure ourselves by someone else's life. Think about it this way. If a fish decides it must fly like a bird, it will spend its whole life feeling useless, even though that same fish has the power to swim across the entire ocean. In today's world, social media has made this trap even worse. Every day we see pictures of someone's dream vacation, their perfect relationship, or their big success story. But we forget that we're only seeing a highlight reel, not the whole truth. And while we compare, we lose sight of our own strengths. Slowly, this way of thinking pushes people into sadness, self-doubt, and hopelessness. That's why I want to tell you a story today. A story for anyone who has ever thought, I'll never be as good as them. Listen closely, because every line in this story holds a lesson that might change how you see yourself. There was once a quiet little village near a busy town. Just outside that village stretched a wide and beautiful forest, full of tall trees, colorful birds, and the soft sound of running streams. In that village lived a boy named Ethan. He was kind, hardworking, and always ready to help others, but he carried a secret sadness inside him. Ethan had a habit he couldn't shake. He was always comparing himself with the people around him. When his friend Liam got the top marks in class, Ethan's heart sank. I wish I was as smart as him, he thought. When he looked at his neighbor Ryan's big house and new clothes, he whispered to himself, if only I had that kind of money. Even when he saw someone running fast through the fields, he sighed. Why can't I be like that? Day by day, these thoughts ate away at his happiness. He couldn't concentrate on his studies even though he was bright. He lost interest in playing with friends. He stopped enjoying the things he was actually good at. No matter what he did, his mind kept whispering the same thing. You'll never be like them. One day an old man came to the village. Everyone knew him as Grandpa Joe. He wasn't just old, he was wise. Whenever people had troubles, they went to him, because his advice always seemed to open their eyes. He carried a gentle smile and spoke with kindness, so people loved listening to him. Ethan gathered his courage and went to Grandpa Joe. Grandpa, he said, I work so hard, but whenever I see someone doing better than me, I feel sad. It feels like I'll never be as good as them. Grandpa Joe smiled warmly. Meet me tomorrow morning at the oldest tree in the village, he said softly. You'll find your answers there. The next morning, the sunlight filtered through the leaves as Ethan walked to the giant old tree in the center of the village. Grandpa Joe was already there, leaning on his wooden stick. He said, Ethan, look around carefully. What do you see? Ethan looked around. Grandpa, there are so many different trees. Some are tall, some short. Some have sweet fruits, and some don't have any. Grandpa Joe chuckled. Now imagine this. What if the apple tree compared itself to the coconut tree and said, why am I so short? Or the coconut tree looked at the apple tree and said, I wish I had sweet fruit like you. Doesn't that sound silly? Ethan laughed. Yes, Grandpa, that does sound silly. Grandpa Joe nodded. Now tell me, when you look at the whole forest, how does it feel to you? Ethan thought for a moment. It feels peaceful and beautiful. Everything seems to belong exactly where it is. Grandpa Joe's eyes sparkled. Exactly. Every tree in this forest has its own special gift. The apple tree gives fruit. The coconut tree grows tall and strong. They're different, but both are important. Life is the same way. Every person has unique strengths. Instead of wishing to be like someone else, find what makes you special. Then Grandpa Joe took Ethan to a quiet pond nearby. Fish were gliding gracefully through the water, and just above them, a bird soared across the sky. Now, said Grandpa Joe, imagine if the fish said, I wish I could fly like that bird. Would that make sense? Ethan shook his head. Of course not. Fish are made for swimming and birds are made for flying. Grandpa Joe placed a hand on Ethan's shoulder. Then why do you want to be like someone else? You are not them. You have your own path. You have your own gifts. Maybe you just haven't seen them yet. But if you focus on your strengths, you'll find your way forward. For the first time, Ethan felt a lightness in his heart. It was as if a heavy weight had been lifted off his shoulders. He finally understood that comparing himself to others would only bring pain. From that day on, he decided to stop. He focused on his own studies, his own work, and the things that made him happy. Slowly, his confidence returned. Life felt exciting again. Years passed, and Ethan grew up. Through patience and hard work, he built his own business from the ground up. He became someone everyone in the village admired. People looked to him for guidance and inspiration. Whenever someone asked him, Ethan, how did you become so successful? He would smile and reply, never compare yourself to others. If a fish tries to fly, it will always feel like a failure. But if it swims, it can own the whole ocean. And then he would add, remember, the sun and the moon never shine at the same time, but both are important. Find your path. Walk it in your own way. That's when real success comes. So the next time you catch yourself comparing, pause and remember Ethan's story. You don't have to be like anyone else. You just have to be the best version of you. If you liked this story, give it a like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you again with another story soon.